So my name is Sean Usman. I'm with Jollitot. I'm glad and happy to be here today to talk a little bit about who we are and how we're building the new smart connected nursery. So what we are, we're a tech-based baby products company, juvenile baby products company, and the technology, we're in the AI, IoT space, so we use that type of technology and basically bringing it to the baby products company. One of the things that we're trying to do is bridge this gap between a parent and their child, especially their baby. So what I mean by gap is by, quick raise of hands, how many here have ever heard of a baby cry? I'm assuming everybody has. So that crying is the only means of communication a baby has. And being, adults, we don't necessarily understand really why they're crying. So most parents usually go down this mental checklist of, is the baby's diaper good? Good, check. Is the baby hungry? Check. Is the baby, sleepy or whatever? You go through all those checks until you find out the point where they're stopped crying. So that leads into a problem. So for example, you have a mother, the baby's crying, mother goes up there, picks them up, and thinks that they just need to be soothed. So they're rocking them in the arm, and the baby, after a couple of minutes, likes it, falls asleep. Parent thinks problem solved. But in actuality, the baby was hungry and just enjoyed the fact that they're getting rocked and went to sleep. So you've got a baby that's left hungry. So this is me. About 2 years ago, I became a first-time dad, and I had no clue what I was doing. And here's my son. His name is Evan, and don't be fooled by the cute pictures. He was a fussy and colicky baby. So, and one of the things was he was an underweight baby, and and he was. At the time, he was classified as failure to thrive from the pediatrician, even though me and my wife did everything we could to try to help him out. At the time, my wife was breastfeeding Evan, and we come to find out after months of stress, research online, that she just wasn't producing enough milk. And it was okay, but my wife was taking it really hard, and it should have never been like that. And these are some of the shocking headlines just of recently, within last year, of parents who have accidentally, starved their child. So we've talked to these customers, we've talked to parents, and there were 4 key areas that they wanted us to look at. One of them is a means to easily track their baby's daily activities, health, nutrition, sleep, diaper changes, and to be able to get insights to actually make healthy choices. The second key thing that they wanted was being able to see the progress in their baby's milestones from month to month, and being able to track that. They also wanted to be connected with a strong group of other parents, experienced parents that they can reach out to for, questions or even support and motivation. And also to be able to overall reach their baby's health and developmental milestones without the stress and struggles that come along with that. So we developed a solution. We called it Thrive Baby. It's an easy-to-use, smart mobile app that allows parents to track their health, their baby's health, development, sleep, nutrition, all the things that are important to them. And from that, being able to get insights into being more proactive in their child's life, instead of most parents are reactive at this point. We also have the capability of fostering that strong network of parents and experienced friends and experienced parents that have been through it before. So part of that is that we have 5 key areas that we look at. It's sleep, diaper changes, feeding, activities like tummy time, and being able to keep track of their weight. So Thrive Baby is free to use and download. But those who want a greater experience, we've got a Go Premium service, and it's $49.99 per year or $9.99 month to month. What that allows you to do is, for instance, being able to export a lot of the information and data to your pediatrician so that they can make recommendations and see things. This is our product rollout. So we've got our Thrive Baby. We're actually launching the beta in a month, and the other pieces of actually the smart connected nursery. It's a big market, and one of the things they say is it's best to be in the baby market or the dying market, but we're in the happy market and it's steadily growing. The thing is, millennial mothers are our core customers, and they attribute 82% of all the annual births. So that's who we're focused on right now. It's a big money market, and we actually use mobile advertising for revenue on our free version of our app. This is me and my wife. We're part of the management team. These are our team members, some of our advisors, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean. Obviously, a tool that all of us or most of us could relate to. So we will start fielding questions from the audience.
Nice presentation, Sean.
Thank you very much.
The IoT, what components of IoT is involved in your app?
So the IoT components are, for example, we've got a product called the Soothe Me Smart Connect Baby Swing. So I actually built and designed it, and we've got proprietary technology around the unique functionality that it has outside of any other normal baby swing. But the smart aspect about it, the connectivity aspect, is it has load sensors to actually measure the baby's weight. So a lot of the activities as far as the beta launch of our app will be, manual operation. So they're manually doing things, or we can actually scan the barcodes of, a Gerber baby product and get all the nutritional information from it. But part of the Smart Connected Nursery is automating a lot of those tasks that they're having to manually do. So we have, the Soothe Me Smart Connect Baby Swing, and now it has the capability of getting the measurement of your baby's weight, connecting to your phone, and from that being able to track your baby's weight week, monthly, and seeing those trends. And from the data, we use, AI, machine learning, sophisticated algorithms to make sense of that data, give parents insights and recommendations, or even problems that we can see in the future and can actually predict from that. So that's one of them. One of the other IoT products is a product we call the AccuTemp Instant Baby Thermometer. So if you think of, thermometer you put in the ear, get an instant reading, connects to the app, and we can get temperature readings. So that helps in, for instance, if your baby is sick, most pediatricians say, hey, take their reading every 2-3 hours. So this is just automating a lot of that task, getting the data, and from that you can actually go to your pediatrician and get those trends of, this is how their temperature was during when they were sick or whatever it is. So I hope that answered your question.
Sure. And what about the diaper? If the diaper is soiled, is there a sensor to alert or something like that?
There's many opportunities, but yeah, there's many opportunities there. But we're trying, there's, this big ocean, and you can't boil the whole ocean, so you got to kind of focus in one area. So.
Nice presentation, Sean.
Thank you.
I was putting myself in the user experience, and I remember when my son was an infant. If I'm using this app, and does it alert me like there's a 103-degree, he's got a fever? Does it tell me what to do? Because when you're a new mom and you don't have mother or mother-in-law with you, you want to be connected maybe instantly with your pediatrician or a nurse or something. How do you know to address if there's something?
So that's a really good question, and that's where we want to be at. We want to be in the position of being able to help parents, not only trying to be proactive in things that we see, but also providing the insights into, hey, maybe these are things we recommend that you do. So for instance, like you were talking about temperature. So people's temperature, especially babies, could be, they say 6 degrees is the normal temperature range. But if you're taking temperature readings of your baby, and for instance, their reading, for example, is normally, 95 or 96. So if the regular temperature is this, but the baby is at a normal 96 or 97, and for instance, now it's going up or higher than it typically is, then, for instance, if 98.6 is the normal temperature, but for your baby it's above normal, those are things that we can look and trend and find out, okay, well, this is outside of what it's supposed to do. But I think going back to your question, I was going off in a tangent, but going back to your question, providing those insights and recommendations and empowering the parent to understand what they're doing, if they get a high reading and how to address it. So,
Sean, is it all manually?
So when we first launched the app, the vision is to automate a lot of this, but starting out as a startup company, as you're building and developing the product, first version will be a lot of manual operation. So we're looking at gaining, from our early adopters, the people who are actually having the problem at this moment and looking and searching for solutions. Those are the people who would take the extra effort to say, I will manually put it in. As we start developing the product, the technology, we look to start automating a lot of the different tasks.
All right. And the reason why I ask is because it was kind of another question attached to it. What makes me want to continue to use the application? Just for me, I'm not sure about everybody else, but I kind of lack consistency sometimes and bad memory, right? So if I'm manually putting this information in and I say, well, I fed the baby 2 hours ago and, 5 hours go by and I'm like, oh, man, I forgot to notate that I didn't feed the baby. Like, does a notification come from your application saying, hey, don't forget to feed the baby?
No, that's a good question. You'll see a lot of applications. You'll see a lot of applications where people will begin to use it and start fading over time. So one of the things we try to look at is how do we get them to come back, use it. For early mom, and I've seen that with my wife, it was very, very important because she was dealing with a problem. She was dealing with a child that was classified as failure to thrive. So she meticulously wrote notes of everything he ate and how much he ate. So for those people, they're willing to do that to solve their problem. But for people, how do they come back? So one of the things we look at and how we're seeing this is more of not the immediate, it's more of a catalog of your child. So you're keeping a catalog of all their milestones, how they're eating as they're developing through each one of their stages. And then one of the things we try to look at is how do we gamify this? How do we make it where the parent will come back? So for instance, if we look and we find out your baby is underweight and we're giving them that feedback, we can do things where, hey, help them to get to where they need to be. So one of the things we also look at is we're going in the field of like speech development, fine motor skills, gross motor skills development, having parents like toys and puzzles that the child can interact with and giving them real-time data of, hey, your baby is at a 3 or 4 month, and this is where they are developing, and these are places that they need to improve in, and spend an extra 30 minutes of time playing with them in this different activity to get them back to where they are. So all those things, as far as baby development, that's very important, I guess, for a parent to have, and being on top of that, I think, is important. So what I'm basically looking, I've got a team together. So we're developing the products as it is now. I've been bootstrapping this startup for about 1.5 years. So we're kind of looking at the point of, hey, we need seed funding to kind of keep on moving along. But at this position, it's more of if you like the technology and you're interested in it and you know that space, I would love to talk to you. Or if you, within your networks, know anybody that is in this space, in the AI, IoT space, those are being open to your networks and saying, hey, I can get you in touch with this person or that person. So.
Okay, so you went very quickly over the advisory board slides. Can you go back to that slide?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, and so you're working with.
Which one do you want?
Next slide. You're at so Darlene. Does that mean you're working with the Countdown Angels?
So I'm a Tech Fort Worth client. So they've got their own angel investment group,
They got
right?
the Countdown Angels, right?
Right. I'm familiar
Okay.
with them.
Now, are you also working with parents who have children who are willing to beta test this product for you?
Yeah, we've got a good group of actually users. So we have alpha testing, so early alpha testing of the application that we've actually been doing a lot of the customer development with. So actually having the users use it, give us feedback on what we need to improve prior to our beta release.
Hey, Sean, good morning.
Morning.
Hey, so sounds like you've got a lot of expectations for yourself in the future, and it sounds like you're coming along. My question is, I know you mentioned that you're advertising online for the free app. What other things are you doing to immerse, smart moms or very conscious moms in communities?
So we've been focused on probably the last year and growing a following. What I believed was I started with the small group of people who understood who we are and what we are, and kind of built the story of how we've got to where we are with me and my wife. So we've got a good, strong following, about 3,500 within our Facebook group. We've also connected with the industry. Last year we were at the ABC Kids Expo in Las Vegas, so we actually feature our product there. Built a lot of good connections in that area. And also one of the biggest influencers within our market is the mommy bloggers. You'll see a lot of moms have huge amount of following. They'll do product reviews, and literally people just gravitate, especially moms gravitate to that. So we've had actual relationships built with that outlet. So far, I think I've been doing all the marketing, and I'm not a mom, or not, so I've been, as far as bootstrapping, I think we've been pretty successful in that phase, but yeah.
We're going to take this one last question from the audience, and then we'll wrap up. And then I know there's a few more questions, so I encourage everybody to stick around and talk with Sean. Hopefully you can hang out for a few more
Yeah,
minutes.
most definitely.
Okay.
Hi, Sean. Thank you for your time and for sharing your personal story and how this attached. Many of the great apps that come along are somebody solved a personal problem and found that there were many other people who had the same problem. How has the use of this app aided in a good outcome for your own son at this point in time?
I wish I had it sooner than later, because we actually struggle through getting, and now he's healthy, he's happy, he's doing. But the problem I saw was talking to other parents going through the same struggle. And I saw the problem, and at the time, I happened to be in an opportune position to say, hey, I'm looking for, I was an entrepreneur going through trying to figure out what problem or opportunity to, solve, and it just happened to land on my lap, and I just ran with it. But I believe that it shouldn't be so difficult, especially early on for first-time parents, to do this, to raise a kid and worry about what do I, literally one day you have a child and you're like, I got to keep this thing alive, and nobody really prepares you for that. So that's kind of the motivation, especially from me having that personal experience and seeing my wife, having that hardship of, trying to just be a mom, so.
Well, I have a quick recommendation or request. It's not a question. I'll make it super fast. I think when I first met you, I told you that my little kid, my 6-year-old, he stopped breathing when he was 4 months old. And SIDS is a very scary thing for parents. And it wasn't even SIDS. They don't know what it is. We were living in Seattle at the time. But he would stop breathing occasionally, and he did it up until he was 2 years old. We've had to go to the ER. We've had the fire department at our house, the police. He required 24-hour monitoring. So if there's something that you can do to build into your products a way to detect if a child stops breathing, because you really only have a couple of minutes to react, I think that would help to, one, save a lot of lives for children, and then two, put a lot of parents' minds at ease. We've done sleep studies. They would say they didn't really know. Well, did he stop breathing last night? It's like you don't always know. So that's a really important thing. SIDS is still on the rise, and I think it would be incredibly helpful to parents if you could incorporate that into your baby swing or whatever it might be, just to track their breathing.
Okay. No, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much for being here.